Hello, good game. Welcome back, ghouls and goblins. I hope you're all having a magical day, and thank you so much for taking the time to support the channel. You're amazing. We have some spoilers to catch up on. You know, it's been a busy week. It took a couple days, you know, half videos, one a day, doing the whole camping thing with Maya. That was great, and going through the starter decks as well. So, you know, we just have like a ton of stuff to do. We still have more starter decks to do. We have a ton of spoilers to get through. And then we have to start theory crafting for like legitimately next week on the 16th when the set comes out. So, you know, we're just playing catch up on the channel, getting ready, lining up our ducks, if you will. And today we're going to try to just burn through as much of these spoilers as I can articulate before my CPU starts overheating and I power down. So welcome to the spoiler show, everybody. I hope you're ready to, you know, hear some of my unique and, you know, maybe backwards opinions on some of these new cards. So do not hesitate to set me straight in the comments below. You know, I'd really appreciate you do that now while we're talking about the cards in theory. Then when I go out of my way, build a deck that doesn't work. So thanks again. Make sure to like the video to help support great content just like this in the future, and join the Discord if you want to become a member of the community. Let's go. Alrighty, so here are the newest cards, September 4th. It's like the 7th or 8th or maybe 9th today. We're way behind, right? So we're going to burn through some of these cards, and luckily, you know, we're starting at last weekend. So, you know, the Flesh Taker for 2 mana, a Human Assassin. Whenever you sacrifice another creature, you gain 1 life, scry 1. You know, that's actually fairly good, right? And we can pay 1, sacrifice a creature at instant speed without tapping it, which is pretty cool, to give the Taker +2/+2 until the end of turn, right? So this is a very good uncommon. I like to see it, you know, very good and limited, and probably constructed playable as well. Diagraph Rebirth for 5 within Golgari colors, also an uncommon. This is a sorcery speed spell, and it will cost 1 less to cast for each creature that died this turn. You can return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield and recast it for 7 via flashback, which is really cool, right? So this is interesting, right? So you could do Calling Ritual, wipe the field, gain mana, reduce the cost of this, plus put that mana that you gain through the ritual into this. You know, you wipe the field, you brought something back, and, you know, that's great. Moving on, the Sludge Monster for 5, a 5/5, and whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, put a slime counter on up to 1 other target creature. Non-horror creatures with slime counters on them lose all abilities and have base power and toughness of 2/2. Not so shabby. A 5-drop is pretty heavy though, but that ETB effect might make it worth it. And then when it attacks, it's just going to get bigger and badder, right? Through those multiple slime counters on it. However, once it's removed, I think those slime counters don't do anything, right? They need to be in conjunction with the monster in play, I think. Let me know in the comments. Of course, like I said at the beginning of the video, set me straight, you guys. The Unnatural Growth for 5 mana. Wolf, an enchantment. This is definitely mono green only, probably. And at the beginning of each combat, double the power and toughness of each creature you control until the end of turn. Wow, so if you're rocking Trample, this is going to be really nice. The Croaking Counterpart for 3, sorcery speed, rare. And if a token, create a token that's a copy of target non-frog creature, except it's a 1/1 green frog. So it's going to be flimsy, but it's going to keep those abilities, which is nice. And we have flashback here for 5, which is cool. It's a pretty cheap spell. The 1/1 green frog should be pretty easy to deal with though, but maybe not, right? You never know what you're copying. Maybe it's something with Hex for Faithful Mending for 2 at instant speed, gain 2 life, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards, flashback for 3. Holy Toledos, I think that is a banger. Moving on though, right? We're into September 5th, just like that. The Valderran Ambusher, a 2/2 vampire archer, and when it enters the battlefield, if an opponent lost life this turn, it deals X damage up to 1 target creature or planeswalker, where X is the number of vampires you control. Neat. Lysia, Forgotten Archangel for 5 mana, a 4/5 with flying and lifelink, and whenever another non-angel creature you control dies, return that card to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. Woof. That's pretty cool. You know, this could be, you know, thrown into the cleric deck. you know, non-tokens, maybe just straight with the angels. For some reason, I was thinking whenever a non-angel creature dies, but it's non-token, so you know that's fine. You know, rock this with Righteous Valkyrie and let's go to town, right? And if a creature an opponent controlled would die, exile it instead. This is similar to the Necromancer, similar to the Dean for one. I forget its name. So, you know, it's really nice just to send things to exile, right? We have the Dawnheart Wardens for 3, a 3/3 human warlock with Vigilance Coven. You know, the Coven rule remains the same at the beginning of combat on your turn. If you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, you'll get a specified ability, just like Pack Tactics was attack with 6 or greater, right? And then in this case, creatures you control get +1/+0 until the end of turn. So that's nice. Ghoul Caller's Harvest for 2, sorcery speed rare to create X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens with decay, where X is half the number of creatures in your graveyard, rounded up. Flashback for 5. Not terrible, but also maybe not the greatest. A pretty deck-specific card that you'd really want to build around. I think we can make it work, but you know, I don't think that's going to be played everywhere. You know, jumping in to September 6th, we got a lot of them to go here. We'll work from the bottom up. Why not? Immolation, you know, +2/+2 aura. That's not good. Auras are typically really bad. Easy removal, interruption, right? And then negative card advantage. Purifying Dragon for 5, a 4/3 with flying, and whenever it attacks, it deals 1 damage to target creature defending player controls. If that creature is a zombie, it's going to deal 2 damage to it instead, because zombies are 2/2. Fairly good. I don't see this being the best card for 5, but for sure, you know, just a limited card. It's a nice 4/3 flyer. Corpse Cobble for 2, instant speed within Dimir colors. As an additional cast to cast the spell, sacrifice any number of creatures and then create XX blue zombie, blue and black zombie creature tokens with menace, where X is the total power of sacrificed creatures. This is really nice, right? So, you know, if you're rocking something cool and your opponent has removal, then you just remove it yourself and go wide, right? Actually, I guess it wouldn't be going wide. It's a single XX zombie with menace. I would prefer for it to make, you know, X tokens, but I guess just creating another single target thing for them is good, and the menace should get that damage through. I like it. The flashback is good. I don't think it is incredible, but I do think it's nice. It's a good card, I think. Defending the Teletus for 4. Instant speed, distribute 3 +1/+1 counters among up to 1, 2, or 3 target creatures you control. Turn the Earth for 1. Instant speed, choose up to 1, up to 3 target cards in graveyards. The owners of those cards shuffle them into their library. You gain 2 life. Flashback for 2. So just like some nice graveyard control, I guess. That's actually not bad. Gaining life is good as well, right? So we see a lot of ways to interact with the graveyard so far. I think it's going to be more important than it's ever been to make sure that we're managing that graveyard, something like the Colorless Blood Mage, for example. The Augur of Autumn for 3, a 2/3, and you may look at the top card of your library at any time, and you may play lands from the top of your library at any time. Really? That's just lovely. That is great. Coven, and you may cast creatures from the top of your library. Wow. So the Augur of Autumn is a must include in mono green as far as I'm concerned. The value that this can generate is so good. Interpreted Adversary for 2, a 3/1 with lifelink, and when it enters the battlefield, you may pay 2 any number of times. When you pay this cost 1 or more times, you may pay, put that many Valor counters on the adversary. Creatures you control get +1/+1 for each Valor counter on the adversary. So this is going to buff up every single creature you control if you're casting it for 4 or for 6. If you're casting it just for 2, it's a 3/1 with lifelink. Wow, this is absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to attach Maul of the Skyclaves to it. The Ghostly Castigator and the Patrician Geist together. 2/2 with flying. Other spirits you control get +1/+1. Spirits you cast from your graveyard are 1 less to cast. And then on the other side, flying. When it enters the battlefield, you may shuffle up to 3 target cards from your graveyard to your library, and if it would be put into your graveyard from anywhere else, exile it instead. It's a thing. I guess this Ghostly Castador isn't with the Geist. It's with the Covetous Covetous Castaway. Oh man, my CPU is already overheating. When it dies, mill 3 cards, disturb for 5, which is the replayability from it for the grave for this Castigator, which is all right, you know, doing some stuff there. Whatever, moving on. Let's go. Hedge Witch's Mask for 1. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Equipped creature can't be blocked by creatures with power 4 or greater, but equip cost is 2, right? We don't like that part about it. Ritual Guardian for 3, Coven, and it will gain lifelink until the end of turn. 3/2, you know, Coven, 3 are different creatures with powers that are not identical or similar. Whatever. Sun Gold Barrage for 3, instant speed, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. Just a limited bomb, you know, very nice removal. Candlegrove Witch for 2, a 2/2 with Coven. It's going to gain flying till the end of turn. Celestius Sanctifier for 3, a 3/2. If it's neither night or day, as it enters the battlefield, it becomes day. As it switches, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your graveyard. Good for maybe a Reanimator deck or a self-mill. Tainted Adversary. These adversaries are very good. They're all mythic. This is for 2. They're actually all for 2. This is a zombie, 2/3 with Death Touch. When it enters the battlefield, you may pay an additional 3 any number of times. When you do, put that many +1/+1 counters on the adversary, and then create twice that many 2/2 zombies with Decay. Beautiful. Dire Strain Demolisher and the Burly Breaker. Breakers for 5, 6/5, ward 1 on the day bound. On the night bound, an 8/7, ward 3. Woof! Talk about a limited bomb. We have the Covert Cut Purse for 3, a 2/1, and when it enters the battlefield, destroy target creature you don't control that was dealt damage this turn. To store for 5, playing it from our grave. A 2/2 with flying and Death Touch, and if it would die, it goes to exile, right? The Nebelgast Intruder for 3, flash flying, 2/1. I like that, and you know, creature an opponent controls gets -2/-0 when it enters the battlefield until end of turn. We have the Chilling Chronicles, also known as you know, what is that Yu-Gi-Oh spell called? Toon World, right? A 1 mana to tap target non-land permanent to transform it into the Mysterious Tome. For 2 mana, you can draw a card and transform it, right? So it's transforming back and forth, which is fairly good. The sad part is the transform doesn't untap it, right? If the transform did untap it, then that would be, you know, godlike. Still, I feel like it's not bad. It's just sad that it costs 3. It'd be much cooler if it only cost 2. Grafted Identity for 4. Uh-oh. A rare blue spell. Get ready. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature, enchant a creature, and then you gain control of the enchanted creature. It gets +1/+1, right? So that's really nice. The Moonveil Regent for 4, a 4/4 with flying. Whenever you cast a spell, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw a card for each of that spell's colors. Interesting. Whenever you cast a spell, you may discard your hand. So if you cast a multicolor spell, right? A 5-color spell, you discard 1 card from your hand, then you get to draw potentially those 5 cards back for that 5-color spell, if it is a 5-color spell. This is, you know, I think even playable within 2-color spells, super playable within 3-color spells. I absolutely love it. And then when it dies, it deals X damage to any target where X is the number of color among permanents you control. Wow, that is really nice. You're gonna go places, kid. Moving on, we've got the Chaplain of Alms and the Shield Geist, a 2/1 flying first strike. Each creature you control has ward 1, dies, goes to exile, and then the original side is a 1/1 with first strike, ward 1, disturb for the Geist for 4, replaying it from the grave, right? Beautiful. We have the Spectral Adversary for 2, flash flying, 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, you may pay 2 any number of times. When you do, put that many +1/+1 counters on the adversary. Then up to that many target artifacts, creatures, or enchantments phase out, whether you control them, whether your opponent controls them. This is really nice. The fact that it has flash and flying makes it both an offensive and defensive creature, and the ability follows suit. The Loyal Griff for 3, flash flying, 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, return another creature you control to its owner's hand. not that bad. You know, it's going to get you an ETB again, potentially really good and limited, probably just for that ETB effect. Last row, the Briar Bridge Tracker for 3, a 2/3 with Vigilance, and when it enters the battlefield, investigate. That's going to make a clue token we can sack for 2 to draw a card. And as long as you control a token, it gets +2/+0. Oh, wow. That is pretty good. That's going to make it a 4/3, ladies and gentlemen, for 3 mana with Vigilance that you do get to draw from as well. I do not mind it. I don't mind it. It's a human scout. I don't know if it's going to outshine much, though. We'll have to wait and see. Hungry for More for 2 at sorcery speed to create a 3/1 vampire. That's black and red with trample and lifelink and haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Flashback for 3. Neat. Sunset Revelry for 2. Sorcery speed. And if an opponent has more life than you, gain 4 life. And if an opponent controls more creatures than you, create 2 1/1 human tokens, and then if they have more cards in hand than you, draw a card, right? So this is a ton of value. It's literally melting my brain. Overload. I think it's great. This is, you know, it doesn't look all that, but just the fact of how much value this is for 2 mana potentially is very neat. Borrowed Time for 3. When it enters battlefield, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield. Hashtag Banishing Light. But you get to fairy smashing out these werewolves. Beautiful. And that's September 6th. Can we do the 7th in one video? We've been here for 16 minutes. Go for it, HCG. Don't hold back. Don't hold back. Go for it. Vanquish the Horde for 8. Sorcery speed. 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield. Destroy all creatures. Right? This is good. This is going to see play. You could be playing, oh, I don't know, the Shambling Ghast, stuff like this that you want to die anyways, reducing the cost of it, accomplishing your goal. I like it. That is like a kind of like a Doomscar that has an earlier payoff, right? Because you can potentially cast this for 2, but you could get stuck with it for 8. I don't know. I like it. But you wouldn't be ever casting it for 8 because why destroy no creatures? So I like it. I like it a lot, right? Mix this in with some single target, you'll be good to go. Flare of Faith for 2 instant speed. Creature gets +2/+2 until the end of turn. If it's a human, it gets +3/+3 and it gains indestructible until end of turn. So, you know, smells like a free-to-play human deck to me. Startle for 2 instant speed. Target creature gets -2/-0 until the end of turn. Create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with Decay. Draw a card. Whoa! That's 3 things in 1 card for 2 mana at instant speed. Old Stick Fingers for 2+X. Whenever you cast this spell, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal X creature cards. Put all creature cards revealed this way into your graveyard, and then put the rest of them on the bottom of your library in a random order. Sticky Fingers' power and toughness are equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Interesting, right? So you could dump a lot of mana in that, self-mill, bring something back with Reanimator, say what? Moving on, Necro Synthesis. For 2 mana, enchant creature. Enchanted creature has, whenever another creature dies, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. When enchanted creature dies, look at the top X cards of your library. X is its power. Put one of those cards into your hand. That's good. The rest in the bottom of your library in any order. You know, that's a really nice free-to-play black spell for shizzle my nizzle. Root Coil Creeper for 2, a 2/2. We can tap it to add 1 mana of any color. We can tap it to add 2 mana of any one color that we cast spells from our graveyard. Hashtag Flashback, hashtag Disturb. That is really, really good. We can also pay 2, tap it to exile it. Return target card with Flashback we own from exile to our hand. Not the greatest, but again, if you are being removed from play, why not? Right? If they're going to remove this, why not exile it yourself and grab something back to your hand for replayability? The Ghoul Grizzly for 4. This is a 4/3 with Trample, and we're going to have to take a closer look for this. It enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each creature that died this turn. Very nice. Backing up here and take us back. The Dire Strain Rampage. And destroy target artifact, enchantment, or land. If a land was destroyed this way, its owner or its controller may search their library for 2 basic land cards, put them into the battlefield tapped, and shuffle. Otherwise, its controller may search their library for a basic land card, put it into the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Okay, so if you destroy a land, they get 2 land. If you destroy something else, they get 1 land. You can also target your own things with this to ramp as well. Plus, it has flashback. I like it. So you're removing their things. If they try to remove your things, you just do it yourself, right? This is nice. In a world in which people will be running Field of Ruin because there are so many lands to deal with that are annoying, this is going to be great. They're going to Field of Ruin your land, and then you just sack your land from underneath of them, get double those lands instead. I like it. I like it a lot. Right, instead of 1, you'd get 2. And I think that's not that bad, right? This looks good to me. Moving on, we have the Ritual of Hope for 2 and instant speed. Creatures you control get +1/+1 till the end of turn. If you have Coven, they get +2/+1. Not too bad. Adeline, Kataria, Splendence. Oh, this is in a different language. LOL. It's like trying to punish my way through that. The Splendid Cathar, a X-Star 4. Its power is equal to the number of creatures you control. Whoa, that's really good. With vigilance as well. And whenever you attack, for each opponent, create a 1/1 human creature that's tapped and attacking a player or planeswalker. Wow. Okay, so this is good in Constructed. This is amazing in Brawl. I mean, be even better in 4-player Brawl or Commander. But I still think that this is playable in mono white just because how wide we're going. It's got vigilance. Throw them all the Skyclave on it, hit for 12 damage or something, I'm assuming. I like it. Let's see what else we have here, though. We have Siphon Insight for 2 at instant speed in Dimir colors. Uh-oh. Look at the top 2 cards of an opponent's library. Exile one of them face down. Put the other on the bottom of that library. You may look at and play the exiled card for as long as it remains exiled, and you may spend mana over any mana to cast that spell, right? Flashback for 3. I mean, it's not that bad. It's basically just like a draw, right? But you're drawing from your opponent's library instead of yours, right? And the flashback makes it even better. The replayability, I think, makes it like actually worthwhile to run. I don't mind that. I think that's like pretty good. We have the Seasoned Cathar and the Ambitious Farmhand. Farmhand for 2, a 1/1. Coven for 3 to transform it. You actually have to pay, which is cool. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for basic planes, put it into your hand, then shuffle. And then as it's transformed, it's a 3/3 with lifelink. Not too bad. So, it's helping you keep consistent with your land, and then, keeping you consistent with your life total. Whatever. Rise of the Ants. Uh-oh. For 6 sorcery speed to create 2 3/3 green insect creature tokens, gain 2 life, flashback for 8. Woof. Hostile Hotel. Hostile Hostel. And Creeping In. I actually, this looks really cool. I mean, look at, come on, look at that art. We can tap it for mana. We can pay 1, tap it, sacrifice a creature, put a soul counter on the hostile. Then if there are 3 or more counters on it, remove them, transform it, untap it, activate it at sorcery. So the untap it is really nice because you can pay the mana. Actually, no, you have to tap it here. But then you do get the Creeping In untapped immediately. It's already in play, so it shouldn't have Summoning Sickness. It's a 3/7, and whenever it attacks, you may exile target creature card from your graveyard. If you do, each opponent loses X life, and you gain X life, where X is the number of creature cards exiled with the Innkeeper. Okay, and then you can pay 4 to phase it out, which is sick. So dodging all the removal, very, very good, and it gets bigger every time. So, it attacks, they lose 1 life, you hit for 3 potentially. It attacks, you hit for 2 damage, you gain 2 life, you hit for 3 on the damage unless it's blocked, right? And then 3, 4, so on and so forth, right? I like it. I like that a lot. The Bloodthirsty Adversary for 2, a 2/2 with haste. When it enters the battlefield, you may pay 3 any number of times, put that many +1/+1 counters on the adversary, then exile up to that many target instances and sorceries with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard, then copy them, and you may cast any number of copies without paying that mana cost. Oh my gosh. So this is really good. It's a 2/2 with haste, automatically attacking. You can add +1/+1 counters on it for 3, plus cast 3 drops from your graveyard for free, which think of them as just being repaid with that 3 from your, oh my, wow, that's It's a nice looking card, right? That Bloodthirsty Adversary. Sorry, I know my fat head's in the way, but I'm liking the looks of that. We have the Mask of Grizzlebrand for 3. Equipped creature has flying and lifelink. Stop it. And whenever equipped creature dies, you may pay X life, where X is its power. If you do, draw X cards equipped for 3. This is really good. Typically, I say auras are really bad, and, you know, they are. Oh, no, sorry, this is not an aura. This is an equipment, so if something happens, you just can re-equip it. Wow. Wow. Flying and lifelink. So, yeah, that's a thing. You're going to see that around. Triad Revival for 3 at sorcery speed. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Flashback for 5. Sure, whatever. Diagraph Horde for 5. 3/4 zombie. When it enters the battlefield, create 2/2 black zombie creature tokens with decay. That's pretty good and limited. Maybe a little expensive and constructed, though. I do like the 2/2 tokens, though. That's 3 creatures for 5 mana. Not too shabby. Mystic Skull for 2. Artifact, add 1 mana of any color by paying 1, so it doesn't really get us anywhere. And then we could pay 5 to tap it and transform it. Lands you control have tap it to add 1 mana of any color. Just straight up mana fixing it. It's a 5/6. Not the greatest thing, I don't think. Good and limited if you're playing a super multicolor deck. Delver of Secrets and Insectile Arbitration. 1/1 for 1. Human Wizard. And at the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. You may reveal that card. If it's an instant or sorcery, transform it. Okay. Easy enough. And then it's 3/2 with flying. It's a nice, cheap wizard, you know what I mean? 1-drop wizard's always appreciated. The Curse of Surveillance for 5. An Aura Curse, enchant player at the beginning of the enchanted player's upkeep. Any number of target players other than that player each draw cards equal to the number of curses attached to that player. Wow, this is a great commander card. I like this. Even just like curses in general, I have a lot of fun with. In my Vampire Brawl deck recently, I threw some curses in them, and I like curse cards. Like, it's great. Just like, here you go, have a present. It's better than most things, I feel like, just for the fun factor. Anyways, Sacred Fire for 2, instant speed, dealing 2 damage to any target. You gain 2 life. Flashback for 6. Holy moly. You know, not that bad though. Duel for Dominance for 2, instant speed. Coven. Put a +1/+1 counter on chosen creature you control. Then chosen creature you control's fight each other, right? So, you know, it's just the fight effect for 2 if it has Coven. You know, 3 creatures with different power. You get a +1/+1 counter on the creature you control. Definitely not a Blizzard Brawl, but it's still good, right? We have the Outrider, a 2/4. When it or another creature we control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature we control. Not the worst, not the best. The Sun Gold Sentinel for 2, a 3/2, and when it enters the battlefield or attacks, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. Coven for 2. Choose a color. The Sentinel gains hexproof from that color until the end of turn and can't be blocked by creatures of that color this turn. Oh my god, activate this only if you control, you know, the creatures with 3 different powers. Ooh, I've got a crush on you. I like that card. It's a 2-drop as well. Oh, I love it, I love it, I love it. The Willow Geist for 1. A 1/1 with Trample. Whenever 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on the Geist. Whenever the Geist dies, you gain life equal to its power. Okay, just stop it. You know what, you guys, this is too much. This is too much. That's an absolute heater. Wow. Brood Weaver for 4, a 2/4 with a reach. Whenever it dies, create a 2/1 green spider creature token with reach. That's pretty sick in Vigilance. The Dawnheart Mentor for 3, a 0/4. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human creature token. Coven for 6, +3/+3, and Trample. You know, it's going to be 3/7 with Trample. Not that great. I don't want to complain about it, though. That's could be a staple mark of a free-to-play deck. We'll see. Wake to Slaughter for 5, rare sorcery. Choose up to 2 target creature cards in your graveyard, and an opponent chooses one of them. Return that card to your hand. Return the other to the battlefield under your control. It gains haste. Exile it at the beginning of your next end step. Flashback for 6. Yeah, you are really going to need graveyard control in this new meta, I'm feeling. Overwhelmed Activist, or sorry, Overwhelmed Archivist. Archivist? I don't even know. A 3/2, when it enters the battlefield, draw a card, then discard a card. Disturb for 4, playing a 2/1 from your grave with flying, and whenever it attacks, draw a card, discard a card. We have the I told you guys, my CPU is going to overheat. I'm going to melt down. The Falconwrath Perforator. A 2/1. Just sound it out, HG. It's not that hard. Whenever it attacks, deal 1 damage to defending player. Great. Glad we spent the time on it. Spellrune Howler, 3/4 werewolf, and whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, it's going to get +2/+2 until the end of turn. As the Nightbound side, we have the Spellrune Painter for 3 Daybound, 2/3 human shaman werewolf, and whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, it's going to get +1/+1. I still like it. And then, you know, Reckless Stormseeker, along with the Storm Charged Slasher. The Slasher Nightbound 3/4, and at the beginning of your combat, creatures you control get +2/+0, gain trample and haste until the end of turn. Okay, you know what? That's pretty cool. And then the Stormseeker for 3, a 2/3 Daybound. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains haste until the end of turn. Right? So, you know, you put this on the creature that just entered the battlefield. It's going to be itself when it enters. That's nice. No way to transform it itself. You have to be transforming it in another way. But, you know, these are pretty hot looking cards for mono red. That's September 7th. We have so many cards to go. September 8th and September 9th. That's going to be in another video, though, you guys. Right? We're going to not spoil all the goods just yet. We're going to get into them in, I believe it'll be part 5. We've been busting out these spoilers like no tomorrow. So everything from Immolation in today's video, and then we did the weekend cards as well, I guess, right? So we touched on so many cards. I don't know, reflecting on them, what my favorites are. I absolutely love this Willow Geist. The Sun Gold Sentinel seems like hot fire as well. You know, these are just generally cool. They're not standing out as much as, you know, this Geist and Sentinel. Absolutely loving that. The Bloodthirsty Adversary is amazing. Grizzlebrand, you know, so pretty cool. Don't get me wrong, but not as good as the Adversary. The Inn is just generally cool. I don't know how super competitive that's going to be. The Splendentine looks good. I don't know if it's the best 3-drop for us, though. Maybe mono white begins to change a little bit. The, you know, weird Doomscar looks cool as well. You know, but still not standing out like those other cards really at all. All the adversaries seem really nice. The dragon looked pretty cool, right? That Moonveil. But yeah, you know, just some cool stuff. The adversaries seem sick. The Intrepid Adversary, a 3/1. You know, all your other creatures get +1/+1. If you're playing this with second cast, that's sick. The Augur of Autumn is like super sick as well, right? So, you know, there actually was a fair amount of cards here that we really, really liked. Some more than others, right? The Control Mage in me really looks to that. But then the Aggro Mage is like, oh, just build with what you know, HGG. Just smash really quick wins. That's the easiest way to climb, right? So those are my favorite cards. What was your guys' favorite cards? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all for watching. Really do appreciate it. Super grateful. Hope you all have a magical day. Stay tuned for the rest of our spoilers. If you haven't seen the ones previous to this, definitely check those out as well. And you know, we've been breaking down those free-to-play starter decks for everybody, going through some simple upgrades, trying to make the game as accessible as possible to people for this new set of standard when rotation hits in September, renewal season, you know, all that jazz. Of course, I'm really excited to start making new decks again. The expansion releases on the 16th of next week. We're going to start out by opening all the packs, right? Just like we did last time. 300 plus packs down the drain. And, you know, that's going to be a lot of fun as well. So, you know, cheers until the next time. I hope you guys have a magical day. Sorry for the CPU meltdown. We're there. I should probably eat some breakfast and not just drink coffee with my day. Uh-oh. But like I said, have a magical day. Thanks for supporting. Thumbs up, Patreons, you know the deal. And we'll see you soon in the next.